Hey butterflies! Welcome back to another episode of the Butterfly Diaries podcast. I'm your host, Vera Voltaire, and I am super excited about today's episode. Before we get into it, you guys already know what to do. Go ahead and like, comment, share, and subscribe to this episode if you haven't already. And if you're listening to this on a podcast platform, go ahead and like, rate, and download this episode. If this is your first time seeing me, hi, hello, my name is Vera Voltaire. I am the host of this podcast. Go ahead and go in the description box below. Oh my God, I'm so tongue-tied today. Go in the description box below and you'll see all the information where you can contact us or you can find us on social media and all that good stuff. All right, butterflies, let's get right into the episode because, I don't want to hold you here long. But today's episode is called Dear Diary, Where is my fruit? Where is my fruit? So today we're going to be talking about, if you haven't already guessed it, fruit of the spirit. If you don't know what the fruit of the spirit is, let me break it down to you. We're going to talk about it today. All right. So first off, I want to tell you guys how I got to even talking about the fruit of the spirit. I was on TikTok the other day. Okay. Yes, I TikTok a lot. My poor friends. I love you all who stick through it with me, which is me sending you 1,010 TikToks a day. Thank you so much. For those of you who actually look at them and like them and respond to each and every single one of them, you're my heroes. I love you. And to my friends that do try their best, I still love you. So listen, I love TikTok, but that's not what this is about. What this is about is what TikTok inspired. So I was on nature TikTok. I love nature. If you don't know that already, clearly the title of this podcast is Butterfly Diaries. I am super obsessed with outdoors and learning about nature and learning about just how things function in nature, all that good stuff. So I was actually learning about, I was on TikTok and a video popped up about a fig tree. And it broke down how the fig tree has its own literal ecosystem. So the fig tree is not always ripe in every season, but in order for it to become ripe for the correct season, it has two main parts. It has sunlight and these fig wasps. So the fig wasps, right? They burrow themselves inside the fig fruit and they literally create an ecosystem within this fruit where they lay eggs in it and they die. They die inside the fig fruit. By the way, I'm never eating figs after seeing this video because, it's kind of disgusting. But anyways, the fig wasps go inside. They die. They lay eggs and they die. The male eggs hatch first and they don't have wings and they are golden colored, right? And because they're golden colored, that means that they're like filled with honey and sugar and all that good stuff. But they mate with the female eggs before the female eggs hatch. Now, that way the female eggs, when they do hatch, they're pregnant already. So the male eggs leave the fig fruit and they get eaten by any of the red or sugar ants that are outside the fig fruit because it's ripe now. They get eaten first. So that way that the female eggs can hatch and fly out safely and go to the other fig fruit and continue this entire cycle, this ecosystem of making these figs ripe. So when I saw that, I was like, that is insane. Oh my God. Like the fig tree has its own whole ecosystem. It's insane how it works. But it made me realize, I remembered a verse in the Bible and I'm going to bring it up. But I remember a verse in the Bible where Jesus cursed the fig fruit, the fig tree, because it was out of season and it did not provide any fruit. And I remember learning about that verse before, but I never really paid too much attention to it till I learned about the fig tree. And I was like, that's why Jesus cursed it, because it should always be producing some type of fruit. It has its own built-in ecosystem. So there is no real reason why it should have been barren and it should have not had any fruit. So Jesus had the right to be frustrated and he was hungry. He was hungry when he did it, y'all. How many of us get so hungry that we get angry, we get hangry, that we're just like, yes. Like my nephew raised his hand. He's like, me, yeah, we know. I do too. I get hangry. And it's like you're just frustrated and annoyed and you just wasn't to eat. And the one thing you was about to eat doesn't have anything on it. Are you kidding me? I curse you. Are you crazy? That was literally Jesus. And so I was like, but he had all the right to be upset at it, because how are you not producing fruit? And you were literally built to create fruit continuously in this cycle. And so I was like, wow, Lord, what What are the two things that I am missing in my life so that I can create fruit? So that I can produce fruit consistently and constantly throughout every season. And I was like, wow, Lord, what are the two components that we need as believers to create an ecosystem where it is continual fruit bearing? And so the first thing the Lord told me was your prayer and your fasting life. Without a consistent prayer and fasting life, there is no way you can produce consistent good fruit and pure fruit. Because where is your mind and where is your heart posture at if you're not in continual supplication and service to the Lord in your prayer and your fasting life? Having that time with the Lord is very important because it will keep one. The enemy hates it. I talked about this earlier. The enemy hates prayer. He hates when you are in prayer. So he will literally send distractions your way so that way you don't pray. He'll actually make you feel like not praying. Like everything in your body will be like, don't pray. You'll find an excuse and be like, oh, I'm tired. I'll pray later. Or I'll pray a little bit today. But praying consistently and having a fasting life, a life that is fast. And I mean fasted. Fasting 6 to 12, 6 to 6, 3 days, 4 days, 12 days, 21 days. We have people who do 40 days, 40 nights. Finding a way to fast and keep that consistently with the Lord. Remember, don't fast outside of the Spirit of God. Make sure the Lord is ordaining you to fast because of your health. But being consistent with the Lord in those areas, with a consistent prayer life, a consistent fasting life, that is one of the key components in order for you to produce consistent fruit. The second thing that the Lord showed me in regards to keeping consistent fruit was intimacy. Now, intimacy. And everybody's like, wait, doesn't that come from prayer and fasting? You are building your spirit man in prayer and fasting. But intimacy. The intimacy between you and the Lord is so important for you to have good fruit. Because the more in love you are with God and the more you are spending time with just his presence and not wanting anything, that's what I'm talking about. Being in the presence of God and not wanting anything, being in the presence of God and not asking for anything, being in the presence of God and not desiring anything other than just him is exactly what we are needing in this season. Asking him for more of what he requires of you, for more of what he desires from you. That is exactly what is being asked of in this season. So, how do I build more intimacy with God? I pray, I worship, I fast, fair. But what do you mean by intimacy? Intimacy meaning that you're only trying to spend more. You love him. The love, building on the love. Remember that you and God have a relationship. It's a relationship. It's a relationship. And all God desires is right relationship with us. That means spending the right amount of time with him, talking to him, spending time in worship and prayer and fasting, yes, but being intimate with him in the ways of surrendering all to him. Opening up your heart to him and speaking to him like he's your friend. Inviting him into every situation and not hiding from him when you did something wrong. But trusting that he has given you grace to come to him and speak to him so that he can help you in the areas where you are struggling the hardest and you are struggling the most. Where you are producing fruit, is it rotten or is it ripe? That's the question of the season. Is my fruit rotten or is it ripe? And how can I make sure that I maintain a good ecosystem so that my fruit may be maintained and ripe? So the fig tree verse, because I know you guys are going to ask, what verse was it? Luke 13, 6 through 9. Okay. Luke 13, 6 through 9 is where you will find the fig tree verse. And we're going to break down the fruit of the Spirit very soon. But we are running out of time, Butterfly. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap up this episode. Okay. But I do want to leave you guys with this. You can only stop yourself from producing the ripe fruit that God has placed in you. And your tree, it may not be a fig tree. It may be a mango. It might be an apple. It might be an orange tree. And every tree has its own ecosystem. That means that they were created wonderfully, uniquely for a time in a season like this. You were created uniquely, wonderfully for a time in a season like this. Your fruit will not look like anyone else's fruit. But what do you need to spend time with God in to always produce great fruit? Pure and abundant fruit and never be barren. All right, butterflies, I'll leave you with that. Thank you so much for listening. Please go ahead and like, rate, and download this episode if you listen to this on a podcast platform. Go ahead and like, comment, share, and subscribe. If you are watching this on YouTube, thank you so much for listening. And butterflies, what do we do? I fly high. All right. See you guys next week.